Now, on your Tuesday morning drive. The Blue Bay LPGA kicks off tonight in China, and we have Commissioner Mike Wan in studio to talk about the state of the LPGA Tour, the impact that golf's return to the Olympics is having on the sport, and to shine a spotlight on some of their top players ahead of next week's CME Group Tour Championship. And Martin Hall and Blair O'Neill are here to show you why you should model your golf swing after the top players on the LPGA Tour. Find out how to gain the accuracy and consistency that we can all use. Plus, Dr. Ara will be making a house call to share tips for staying safe and healthy if you decide to take a golf trip to one of the many great golf destinations like Cancun, where the PGA Tour heads this week. You don't want to miss that and much more on Morning Drive today, Tuesday, November 7th, 2017. And welcome back inside Studio AP. It is a Tuesday edition of Morning Drive. Damon Hack alongside Cara Banks and a PGA Tour winner in Robert Dammert, who yesterday dusted off the cobwebs and played some golf at the Robert Gomez charity event here in town.
Yeah, some creaks and pops in the old bodies, cobwebs. But I think only one drive went out of bounds, in the shamble format.
Wow.
I didn't embarrass myself, made a few birdies, a few putts.
Good.
It was all right.
Well, and at Orange Tree, that's a bit of an accomplishment because that's
you're not kidding.
Fairly narrow track around here.
I've never played one tighter, literally.
Yeah, okay.
It's crazy.
And he pretends he doesn't like this game anymore.
He loves
still
it.
tees
He'll
it
be
up
back.
right
He'll
up
be
there.
chasing
Game, I
it.
just don't play as much.
You'll be like Dana Quigley on the PGA Tour Champions playing every
That's
week.
right, every week.
Coaching you as well, I hear, David.
Helping me with my short game. I had a 45-minute session yesterday. I was nipping it. The bounce was working. I was using the bounce. The leading edge was irrelevant. It was fantastic.
Damon and Damron, it's like a match made in heaven.
Traveling road show. Speaking of traveling, LTC's been all over the place. This is 2 days in a row for her. Welcome back again.
2 days in a row. Not a very large feat when you think about coming back, but it has been a little while since maternity leave. Glad to be back with all of you on a Tuesday. All that inspiration getting us out there on the range, working on our games, maybe some inspiration from Justin Rose. Back-to-back European Tour wins, and then throwing out some love on social media to his caddy, Fooch, of 9 strong years. Good to see this love going on. Nothing but respect. Guys have been going 9 strong years in their relationship. Now, Justin Rose taking a little bit of a break right now. These ladies, they are not. You've got Jessica Korda, Michelle Wie, and plenty more live golf coming your way tonight for the Blue Bay LPGA Classic. And this from Korda on Instagram, a throwback to 15 and then 17, wearing some kimonos ahead of the Blue Bay LPGA. Then they threw this out on the LPGA handle themselves, adding in Sandra Gall. So we're going to be setting you up for all of the action. And Damon, we've got great guests coming on, don't we?
Including the commissioner of the LPGA Tour, Mike Wan. Those kimonos are a lot safer than those cables that Henrik Stenson were hanging from overseas of the WGC HSBC champions.
Yeah, let's not get too deep into that at the moment. Wait and see what happens. He might still play the DP World Tour Championship next week. Let's get to what is happening on the professional golf tours this week. And the PGA Tour moves to Mexico for the OHL Classic at Mayakoba, where Pat Perez will defend the title that he won by 2 strokes last year. It was his second career PGA Tour win and his first since the 2009 Career Builder Challenge. Well, since that moment at El Camaleon Golf Club last year, the 41-year-old has missed only 3 cuts in 26 starts. He's amassed 6 top 10 finishes, and he won again early in the wraparound portion of this new season at the CIMB Classic in Kuala Lumpur. Now, before the victory in Mexico last year, the American was ranked world number 271, but his recent form has seen him move up 253 places to currently stand 18th in the official world golf rankings. That is some mover. Robert, what do you put his change in fortunes down to?
A lot of it is just his fiery nature, I think. I think that a lot of people doubted him after his surgery and his comeback. You know, it's tough after full shoulder surgery, and is he going to ever come back? He was kind of a very talented player that didn't quite get the most out of his game before, and some of us are motivated by people saying we can't, and Pat is that guy, and that's what I mean by fiery. If you say he can't do something, he's going to go out of his way to prove you wrong, and that was his big motivator. His sponsor dropped him. Some people are like, he's not coming back, and he showed them.
How long can that fuel really kind of provide what he needs, the energy? Because you don't hear a lot of golfers using anger, spite, to perform? That seems like it's more of an energy you hear around the NFL or wrestling. Can he ride that out, or does he have to kind of find more of a balance?
Well, you're not supposed to in golf. You're not supposed to have that, like you said, the energy, almost a rush of adrenaline and anger. He's Pat Perez, though, and we're not. He does things differently. He marches to his own drum. He knows what makes him tick now at his later age, and he said it in his interviews. I do it this way. I don't work out. I eat bad. I'm going to keep doing it because this is who I am. I think for most people, no, it's not the best way to kind of get emotionally involved in your game. You want to be flat like DJ, but again, he's Pat Perez.
He's winning, doing his thing, so why change it? And that was a very vocal statement, David.
Yeah.
I'm not going to start working out, and I'm not going to change my diet.
Let's take a look at this golf swing. It's evolved a little bit. I mean, he was someone
just
who
a tiny bit
playing with Tiger or that era in the 80s and 90s in Southern California. You know, winning the Junior World Optimist. How's the swing now? Maybe compared to what it was. Now he's 41 years of age.
He was an all-world junior player.
Right.
I mean, at this age, back in '93, he was a heck of a player with a really unique, different golf swing. You're just going to have to trust us that this is Pat Perez after seeing this swing. Let's roll it, Damon. It's actually, the takeaway is a little deep, which is very similar to what he does now. Here's where things go off the rails. Okay, nice. Wait a minute. Look how deep that is. John Daly doesn't get that deep. And he comes down, his body's way in front of it at impact. Look how far his hips are open. Club's still not to the ball. Impact is wide open.
Almost facing the target before the club even meets the ball.
Absolutely. It takes a lot of timing. Okay. And he's made a change. And to make this change, I mean, his backswing that's almost 3 feet of difference. He had to have absolutely taken maybe a year to get the synchronization and the timing down. But I'm going to show you a few things with a current Pat Perez swing and the one we just saw, which is one of my favorite swings I've ever seen. First and foremost, a little a financial tip: buy bigger clothes and grow into them. That would stretch your dollar, because the clothes are the same size. Pat's gotten a little bit bigger. But anyway, so let's go ahead. Similar setup. Let's take this back to the top. And what you're going to notice is, yes, it's a much shorter backswing. But the reason it's shorter, one, he's a little older, but two, the hips are restricted here. Not a lot of hip turn.
Amazing.
Back here, a ton of hip turn. And there's what I mean when it gets synchronized, it's easier to synchronize your swing, get everything back down in front of you from this shorter range than it is from that much longer range. So let's go down to the next thing I've got built in here, and I'll show you what I mean. So in a way, these two positions are the same, and the way they're the same is their knees are square to the target in both of these. But look at the difference where the club is. The club it's almost actually touching his shoulder there. That is so unique. Back down in front of him the way it's supposed to be. That way your timing is much less apt to go wrong than when you go all the way down to impact, which again takes much quicker here and much longer there. Hips and everything are open, but not way open. We go back to this one, they are miles open. So he almost had to stop his body, let the club catch up, whereas this one, everything can flow through impact at the same time.
If you have a younger golfer at home, are you okay with the long swing, or would you try to get him or her maybe to tighten their swing up a little bit more like the elder Perez?
That's a big move. That's going to be up to him. If it's up to me, I want to stay the same. I'd like, if you're a great player, which he was, I try to avoid changes. There's a lot of different unique swings in the Hall of Fame.
Go with what works.
Go with what you got.
Swing your swing, as Arnold Palmer liked to say. Carr, back over to you.
Solid advice, guys. Well, let's turn our attention to the European Tour, where world number 16, Alex Noren, returns to the Nedbank Golf Challenge to defend what was his 4th win of the 2016 season. Now, the Swede came from 6 strokes back on the final day to win by 6 strokes. It was incredible. This event, though, for much of its history, was played with a very small elite field that ranged from 5 to 30 players and offered amongst the largest, if not the largest, purses in all of golf. Well, this will be the 5th time it has been played as an official European Tour event, and now as one of the 8 events in the 2017 Rolex Series, hosts a field of 72 players. So notables in the field this year include Race to Dubai leader Tommy Fleetwood, number 5 in the standings Tyrrell Hatton, and fresh off of good performances in Turkey, Nicholas Kolsas and Padraig Harrington. They are joined by the likes of Lee Westwood, Ian Poulter and Peter Uihlein. Well, let's find out what is happening over on the LPGA Tour now with Lauren Thompson.
Thank you, Cara. It is a busy week in the game. Happening now also, we have a new world number one in So-Yeon-Yu. Yes, it is official. She is number one in the Rolex rankings, the reigning U.S. Women's Open champion, and now becomes the first LPGA Tour rookie in the history of the rankings to reach the top position. She's called it a great honor for herself and her family, has never missed a cut in 29 career LPGA Tour starts. So Park, who's also affectionately known as Shut Up and Attack, moves past So-Yeon-Yu, who held the position for the past 19 weeks. Last week's winner, though, Shan Feng in third, and Lexi Thompson, who leads the race to the CME Globe. She is in fourth place when it comes to these standings. But Park, competing in this week's Blue Bay LPGA Classic, she will also enter the season-ending CME Group Tour Championship November 16th through the 19th with a chance to capture Player of the Year honors and could join LPGA legend Nancy Lopez as the only players in LPGA Tour history to win Player and Rookie of the Year honors in the same season. Now, later today on Morning Drive, we're going to have the commissioner, Mike Wan, joining us later live. So, Cara, we've got a lot to talk to with him.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to that. Meanwhile, the PGA Tour Champions season reaches its climax at Phoenix Country Club this week as the top 36 in standings are eligible to compete in the Charles Schwab Cup Championship. Now, the season-long race has been won by Bernhard Langer the previous 3 consecutive years, and he now goes for his 5th overall following a record season in 2017. Unsurprising that the 60-year-old enters this week as the points leader following 7 wins this season that includes 3 senior majors and the first 2 playoff events. All 36 players, though, do have a mathematical chance to win the season-long race, but it is the top 5 in standings who guarantee it with a win in Arizona. Well, for more, we can now welcome in our insider who is in studio as we say good morning to Tim Rosenfort. Morning, Rosie.
Morning, Cara.
Bernhard is just fascinating, isn't he? Never has he won 7 times in one season at any stage in his career. Just where does he rank now, do you think, compared to the 1980s and 90s when he won 2 green jackets?
I caught up with him at his house in Boca Raton last week, and he said he wanted to establish that I never thought I'd be playing at this age, at this level, period. But then the thing that resonated to me, Cara, was when he said there were weeks last year during those 7 wins and 3 majors where it was as good as it can be. In other words, as good as it was when he was winning 31 times around the world, 2 Masters titles, Ryder Cup matches, etc. That's the level he's playing golf at, now turning 60 just 2 months ago.
I mean, that's unfathomable, isn't it?
It certainly is.
We worry about golfers turning 40, but the emotion that we see from him as well, I really appreciate. The burning desire is still there, irrelevant of his age number. How do his peers view that quality?
Well, I called Nick Price, who's also 60, and like Nick Faldo and Greg Norman, players from that generation, they sort of lost interest in PGA Tour champions. They basically left it all out there the first time around. And, you know, I asked Nick the question, well, what do you think of what Langer's doing? And what happened was he started laughing for about 10 seconds before that subsided. And he said, I have no idea where he gets his desire from. I don't know where it come from. So I got 100% admiration for this guy. It is unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. And it is, to see him play at this level, at this age, and wanting it even more because that Hale Irwin record is now within reach, obviously. Maybe within 1 year, within 2 years, if he keeps throws the W's out there like he did this year with 7 plus the 3 majors.
I mean, you see his, not his peers, but his fellow professionals calling for him to be on the PGA Tour.
Right.
Some of those players are saying, I bet he could come out and win here. It really is historic, and I think we're lucky to be witnessing it, and it's certainly not over yet. We'll see what he manages to achieve this week. Thanks for your insight, as always,
Thanks,
Rosie. You're going to be sticking around for the whole show today, right? Perfect. We're keeping a hold of him. Plenty more from Tim Rosenfort later as we continue and we get you back to Lauren.
Looking forward to it, Cara. Well, coming up also this morning, we're going to be taking you back in time to a date that would lead to the all-time winningest major champion making his mark in the game. What Jack Nicklaus did on this date in 1961. As Tim Rosenfort, he's going to be sticking around and bringing you stories and quotes that accompanied this heartfelt declaration. Then it's time to welcome the good doctor inside Studio AP. And with all the globetrotting going on in the game, Mexico this week and more, Dr. Ara Sapaya is going to share the best ways to stay smart and stay well when it comes to drinking water and beyond. Plus, the live guests keep coming as the LPGA Tour Commissioner Mike Wan, he's got something to say with only a couple events left in the season. Mike's going to open up on the new #1 in the women's game, key factors in the live golf coming your way tonight, and the race for the season-ending $1 million prize. There's plenty to get to as we're teeing up your Tuesday. Studio Scenics, provided by Royal Kanapali Course. Morning Drive will be back right after this break. Don't go anywhere.